To the final segment of the show for today. We're talking to Minister Gregory Taylor, and he's talking about the state of spirituals and hymns in the African American church. And Minister Taylor, let's continue our discussion, because I think that what you've already pointed out is that there has been a loss of, in a real sense, spirit in the spirituals and hymns in the African American church. And what you're trying to do is to somehow bring back some of the spirit. And when you talk about the spirit, you mean the emotions that generally come from the songs as they were formerly sung, and the emotions that come from the songs the way that they are presented, that are outside of the state of what has been the original hymns. And would that be a correct summation of some of the things?
That is close, Dr. Haney. And to also enlighten more, that during a devotional period, which today is being taken out of the churches, you know, the devotion. And I was told that the devotional is our foundation. This is the area where the songs were born in the hearts of our ancestors in the fields in America. And Dr. Gardner C. Taylor wrote in the book by Dr. Y.T. Walker, somebody is calling my name, that when Booker T. Washington went to Africa and came back to America, that he said that the children of Africa in the southern plantation, their music has a note, a new note in it, and this note can be traced back to suffering and sorrow, and also there's a note of joy, you know. And during the devotional period, they gave time for the Spirit to come, to pray and to sing, and to pray and to sing. And in Atlanta, Dr. Haney, when I got there, I found it hard to find the old hymns and spirituals in the devotion in church. And I was actually calling back to Alabama, to my home church, and taking in the devotion by way of telephone for 30 minutes. Then I would go out to the churches and get a message. But the devotion set the tone of the Spirit moving throughout the worship service. And there's a lot of elders here and deacons are telling me that this is being lost, but the congregations are not hearing the elderly today. They feel that they are insignificant, that their time has been put in, and they don't have anything to offer now. But where I come from, it was much different, you know, in those areas. And the other factor is in the noise. You know, I use this illustration in the book of Acts, where it said they were all gathered together on one accord in one place. And suddenly there was a rushing mighty wind that come in, and it filled the house. And what I've noticed today, Dr. Haney, is that the bands, the instrument players will rush in just before worship, and they will set up their instruments and fill the house with noise, you know. And they're not being in tune to the timing of the Spirit. Some of them can get upset, not give themselves a chance to understand how that was working, you know. And I can recall in Atlanta hearing some of the mothers say, I know the Lord is my shepherd. I know the Lord is on my side. And just hearing them tell their stories is what our young people need to hear. And when it is sung correctly, it will satisfy the young and the old, you know. Because
it's universal in a real sense. I think, yeah, that's what you're saying.
That's right.
And that it opens up the spirit and the emotions in a way that you can't often get with the saxophone or drums or whatever.
That's right.
And it's, yeah, I can certainly see that. And as a matter of fact, I'm reminded of some of the church services that I've attended in reference to what we're saying here now. And I think that perhaps over the last 5 minutes, we've got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
But I think that one of the problems might be that many people are not aware of it. I mean, they might know or at least think that something is wrong, but they are unable to put their finger on it as you're doing here. And I appreciate that.
And Dr. Haney, what I realized that is enabling me to do this, and I must say this, when I got to Nashville, I realized that everybody had not grown up listening to the same kind of music. But I didn't realize that when I left Tuscaloosa and went to Atlanta. I was going to these places thinking somewhere there had to be somebody been introduced to the same thing that I had come up with. And then when I got to Nashville and discovered the website of Dr. J. Robert Bradley through his executor, that's I think Dr. Chris Jackson, and I found that and it revived me. It reinvigorated me, you know.
Re-energized
That's
you
right.
and,
It reinvigorated me. And here I realized, I said, this is what I grew up on. This is what I've been looking for, not knowing it was nowhere to be found but where it had been recorded, you know. And speaking of that, I found out that in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as well as in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're still singing the old music, you know, and I've connected with a lot of them through Dr. Malefi Asante. He told me about the countries in Africa that were still singing it. And in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, in the Black Culture Center there, this was Dr. Henry Bishop, they have a tape up there called "You Brought Me From a Mighty Long Ways." And just listening to them sing in Canada, they still have the majesty in their music. And I believe, Dr. Haney, that we can get ours back here also, but it's going to take some listening. And I'm reminded of what Dr. Samuel Proctor said, that a lot of our music is noise without joy.
Okay.
Instead of